Welcome back, it's Ryzen, and today I'm going to be doing a character analysis on who I believe to be the most evil man in the tower, Arie Joaquin, more commonly known as White. I'm going to be talking about who he is, the significance of his inclusion in this story, and of course analyzing the various nuances and complexities of White that often go overlooked and how all of it plays into his relationship with Bomb. Real quickly before I get into it, if you enjoy Tower of God content, definitely be sure to check out my channel. I have a variety of Tower of God content, including rankings, theories, and other character analysis videos. And if at any point throughout this video you catch yourself enjoying it, please be sure to leave a like, as it really does help support a small channel like mine. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into the analysis. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was the brilliance of White's introduction, and to do that, we need to understand the circumstances leading up to it. At the end of the Revolution Road arc, Bomb confronted Rachel at long last and was rejected yet again. But this time, we saw Bomb go full rage mode. What made this moment impactful was the fact that Bomb did not want to hurt Rachel out of revenge, not for himself or for anyone else. In fact, he didn't even want to hurt her at all. He simply wanted to mend their broken relationship. But it is quite evident that their relationship was beyond repair, and it makes Bomb's actions seem unwarranted for what his intentions were. Again, if Bomb wanted to beat her to a pulp, that would honestly be justified, and we as readers would be happy to see Bomb do that. But the fact that he was behaving in a way that was counterintuitive to his intentions made the readers disagree with his actions, which is very important. Bomb is not perfect, Bomb makes mistakes, and this moment was a very grandiose portrayal of our beloved main character slipping up and making a mistake, and at the core of this mistake was Bomb's selfishness. This selfish nature is somewhat embraced by Bomb in Season 3, but the beauty of that is how he grew to embrace his selfishness. The way SIU tends to write Bomb is having him struggle with conflicting personality traits before finally embracing an appropriate mixture of those traits. Bomb tends to be very selfish whenever Rachel is involved, but otherwise he is the opposite, and always doing everything he can to save his friends. Putting all of this together to kick off the next arc, we needed somebody as an antagonist to take the spotlight off of Rachel and to be an extremely selfish person in order to restore the reader's faith in Bomb's unselfish nature. Enter Arie Joaquin. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to call him White because I'm not going to be going over any of his siblings. White was the exact thing that the story needed at this point, not only for Bomb's character development but for the reader's entertainment. An incredibly weak and unconfident villain can only entertain the readers for so long. White truly was a breath of fresh air. He gave us that cocky, powerful, and evil villain that we have always wanted from Tower of God. But to kind of step away from his introduction and to get more into his character, I think one of the more underrated aspects of his character is his intelligence. White ended up manipulating two kingdoms in the Outer Tower to go to war with each other so that he could absorb all of their souls. He manipulated his siblings into discarding their free will, and he's manipulated people into aiding him in his resurrection multiple times. By consistently showing this level of manipulation, he proves to us that he is not only a genius swordsman, but a genius period. Speaking of swordsmanship, his mastery of Arie's swordsmanship is very cool. I mentioned in my last video how I believe Arie's swordsmanship is one of, if not the coolest fighting technique in the series, and I stand by that. White excelling in these areas is such a stark contrast to Rachel, whose character is partially based on her literally sucking at everything. Another way he contrasts Rachel is ideology. I went over this in detail in my Rachel character analysis video, but I'll break it down very briefly here. Rachel and Bomb both represent a theme of voluntary sacrifice. They both have the strong desire to have others follow them and sacrifice themselves for their pursuit in order to obtain their desires. What makes Rachel different from Bomb is that Rachel is a very unlikable person, so she is forced to resort to psychologically manipulating people to want to serve her, which is incredibly unintuitive and it leads to her complete failure. Bomb, on the other hand, is capable of achieving this, which sparks Rachel's jealousy. Jealousy is a key theme in this analysis that you're going to want to remember for later, specifically antagonists being jealous of Bomb. But what separates White from Rachel is that White has no desire for people to want to follow him. He believes in the idea of involuntary sacrifice. Unlike Rachel, his evil has evolved to the point of having absolutely zero morality, and the emotions of other people have zero effect on him. It's really fascinating how SIU managed to create a character that perfectly reflects the opposite of not only Bomb, but Rachel as well. White and Bomb both contrast Rachel by being genius prodigies, but they oppose each other in how they use that power to influence others. But why? Why are Bomb and White so different from each other? That may seem like a stupid question to ask, but these characters are actually way more similar than you think. Both White and Bomb were treated coldly by the person they cared about most when they were in their most impressionable state. Bomb obviously being abandoned by Rachel, and White being neglected by his father. Their circumstances were of course different, however. Bomb was abandoned for no reason, and therefore had nothing to blame for his abandonment. And at least up until the versus White arc, he never had given up on restoring his relationship with Rachel. White was the opposite. His father had told him to become a demon, to find joy in the suffering of others, and to consume weak souls, as that was the only way he could ever have a chance of surpassing him. At the time he was told this, White decided to follow these instructions. The king of manipulation had begun his journey by being manipulated himself, but although he was manipulated, he made the conscious decision to go down this path. He was never forced. This is what I believe to be White's biggest regret. He has already realized deep down in his heart that the moment he consumed his first soul, he had already lost. He would never surpass his father. Even if he were to beat his father in a sword fight, it wouldn't even be him doing it. Arie Joaquin would never surpass his father. It would be White, a demon formed by millions of souls that just so happens to be led by Arie Joaquin. He was the cause of his own defeat. He ruined his own life. One may ask, if White was aware of this, then why does he continue? Well, it's the same reason why us humans in real life try our hardest to obtain wealth and fame, even though we all know for a fact that it will be gone when we inevitably die. For temporary pleasure. Pleasure is all White lived for, until he met Bomb. Bomb was somebody who was also blessed by being a prodigy, but was then manipulated by somebody else and hit rock bottom. But Bomb did not resort to using the power of others. He did not resort to forcing others to sacrifice themselves. Bomb achieved everything legitimately. And this is where White's jealousy comes in. White is reminded of his past. He is forced to confront the fact that he can never truly surpass his father. And seeing Bomb, who is well on his way to surpass even Arie Han, infuriates White. But again, White is intelligent, and he genuinely cares about surpassing his father. And to see somebody else achieve that goal would be too much for his ego to bear. So he wants to kill Bomb, even though he and Bomb are technically thug teammates. But he doesn't just want to kill Bomb, because if he killed Bomb, White would be tormented by the fact that a being existed who could have achieved his ultimate goal entirely on his own. White seeks validation in his own actions through Bomb. If Bomb, someone who has a soul so pure that he even saved all of White's teammates in their battle, was to resort to walking the same path as White, it would show White that his choice in becoming a demon was inevitable, and he really only chose the only option put out for him. But as Bomb, the readers, and even White himself knows, White is ultimately at fault for choosing the wrong path, and Bomb's way of living can and will surpass all others. This is why White looks at Bomb with inferiority. This is why White doesn't simply kill Bomb. This is why White's character is honestly so beautiful. So that's the bulk of what I have to say about White's character arc, but there is one more thing that I think is potentially very underrated symbolism that could be very important moving forward, and that is White's sword. In the Hidden Floor arc, White's sworn enemy was actually revealed to be his sword. Now this can be interpreted in many ways. Please feel free to tell me your interpretation in the comments below, but my interpretation is this. Everything I just told you in this video is a complete lie. White does not actually care about surpassing his father as a swordsman. Well, he does, but that's not the root of it. White wants to surpass his father, period. If his father was the world's best strategist, he would study strategy. If his father was the world's dumbest clown, White would then start vaping, investing in NFTs, and the freaking Ice Poseidon PP Poo Poo coin. You get what I mean. And because Arie Han was the most powerful swordsman, it enabled resorting to soul stealing and evil to become an option to White in the first place. If Arie Han was again the world's best strategist, White would have had no choice but to learn strategy. He wouldn't have been able to absorb souls and take the easy way out. What I'm getting at is that swordsmanship in particular is something that White subconsciously defines as having ruined his life. Honestly, it sounds far-fetched, but I really truly enjoy that concept, and I think it would be really cool to see White have dialogue confirming this. The closest thing that we have to that is White talking to Hotz about his improper usage of the sword, explaining to him that to take up a sword is to inevitably take a life, pretty much equating a sword to an enabler of evil. And I guess since I'm going down the route of full-on theory crafting at this point, in the most recent fight between Bomb and White, as Bomb is absorbing White's sword, Bomb states verbatim that White will never let go of his sword because he is the sword itself. Interesting how White, who is pure evil, is also the sword. And as soon as the sword is let go, White stops existing, and we get Vicente instead. All I'm saying is that there is a lot of evidence and symbolism that White himself and even the other characters in the story view his sword as the source of all of his evil. And White truly hates the sword deep down, because as I stated earlier, the result of his evil is his inability to truly surpass his father. And yeah, that's about it for the character analysis. I spent quite a long time writing this actually, because I wanted it to be, actually good and provide some value. So hopefully I succeeded in that. Please leave a comment letting me know your thoughts, as I do read and reply to every single comment I get, and it honestly makes my day. Please consider leaving a like, as it would help the video be seen and enjoyed by more people, and consider subscribing as well for more Tower of God content and to join my amazing Tower of God community. Additionally, if you want to see even more Tower of God content, I've linked all my Tower of God playlists in the description, including character analysis, theories, rankings, and more. Last thing, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. It truly means a lot to me. And I now should be getting access to community posts, so I'm going to be pretty active with those. I'm going to be doing like polls and whatnot to keep you guys more engaged with what I'm doing and to deliver the best content possible. I hope to reach 600 subs by the end of the month, so let's see if we can do it. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for making it to the very end, and I'll see you guys in my next Tower of God video. Peace out.